Hi everyone. So let's start making our great big truck bow for this big old wreath. The bow recipe is I'm going to make a smaller center loop, and we're going to be making that on row C. I'm going to be using fingers 2, 3, 4, and 5 on row E. So that's how you set up your board, and there's our bow recipe. Okay? Our first ribbon that we're going to use is the little 1-inch, and I'm just going to put one center loop. That's all I'm going to put, and to just do one center loop with a tail. Okay, y'all all remember, who remembers the terry bow? I think that's probably everybody in the world. The terry bow is still just the craze. So instead of, and you know, whenever we started with a little tail. Well, the only thing that's different here is we're just going to start with a longer tail. That's the only thing different. So if you've made the terry bows before, you can see just how incredibly easy this is going to be. But this is going to have a center loop. Terry bow didn't have a center loop. We're going to put a center loop in it. Okay, I call this a, because I've seen just tons of versions of this bow, so I just call them the terry bow with tails. They just have some extra loops, but the tails are longer. So that's just my version of it. Okay, so instead of a short tail, we're just going to go with a longer tail. Okay, now to do the center loop, you just sit the ribbon over the loop. I'm going to pinch it here at the base using 26 gauge wire. Y'all, I use pre-cut 26 gauge wire. You never want to use heavier wire than this. It's just going to bulk up into the stack of your bow. It's gonna just bulk it up, and it doesn't twist as easy as this. So you want to make sure you use the 26 gauge wire, nothing heavier. To do this, just take your piece of wire and slide it under. See how I slid that under? I think I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Let me see if I can move this. I think I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Okay, so there's my pinch. Let me do that again. All I do is just drop my ribbon over, pinch them together. I'm sliding my wire under, and look, I'm at the halfway point. See, I'm at the halfway point of my wire, and I'm just going to go over, tighten it, just tighten it up, and then I'm gonna switch hands because I don't want to get my arm in the way. I want y'all to see this well. See how I'm starting here? I'm going to switch hands. This is going to look awkward. This is not how I would do it, but I just want you to see what I'm going to do with this piece of wire. Okay? I'm going to pull it up. And like I show in all the videos, you always start going clockwise, and you're going to pull this up and wrap this piece of wire on itself. You're attaching the ribbon to the bow maker, and now you're with this piece of wire, and now you're getting it out of the way for now. See? And then the other piece of wire, you're going to come out of around the nail just once. That's all that's necessary. Stick that under, and that is how this is supposed to look at this point. And y'all, that's all there is to it. Okay, so that's how that is supposed to look for now. I'm going to measure off my two tails. I usually put one a little bit different than the other. Okay, and now you're going to take and move your tails to the top, just like you did with the terry bow. All your tails went to the top. You're just having a longer tail, just sit them to the top. Y'all, I've done this several different ways. I've tried this with leaving the tails down. It just doesn't work as well. Please take my word for it. It does not fluff as pretty. So it just works better this way. So there you go. That's the start, and that's how you do it. Absolutely nothing to it. Okay, let's go to our next ribbon, which is the truck ribbon. And we need to talk about this truck ribbon. Okay. If I was to use this ribbon just rolling off of the spool as it is, and you would just start making your bow, what's going to happen? Well, you see how this is. If you had your loop like this, your truck would be far into your loop, and right here you're just going to catch the front of the truck. okay? And that's not the position I want that truck to be in, because you're just not going to get the full effect of the truck. And then if I just pinch and twist and bring this around, because I'm going to have to pinch and then do the twist, what's going to happen whenever I pinch and twist on this side, my trucks are going to be upside down. Not only will they not be positioned where I want them, but they'll be upside down, and I'll have wrecked trucks, and I'll have wheels in the air and my trees falling out. I do not want that to happen. So how are we going to fix this? Y'all, super simple. Another thing is I want, with my tails, I don't want my trucks going up in my bow on one side and my trucks going down on the other. I want my trucks driving down on both ways. So how am I going to fix that? I'm going to cut my ribbon. Nothing to it. See how I just turned that around? I am going to cut this ribbon because I want my trucks driving down. Okay, I have a nice flat edge there. My board is about 20 inches, so I'm just going to use my board as my measurement. That'll be good. I'm going to put a little slant on it. Y'all, helping hand wire. That's what I call this. It's my helping hand. It's just holding everything for me. I just love my little helping hand. It holds everything for me and makes all of this incredibly easy to do. And how do I start with my helping hand? You see my center loop? See that? See that center loop there? See? All you want to do is take your piece of wire and just drop it through. You want to drop it through that loop. See how I've dropped it through? And y'all, you always come out on the right side. You have your beginning ribbon on the left, and you don't want to get tangled up with that. So your beginning your beginning wire is to the left, so you just want to work off the right side. Keep your two pieces of wire separated. You're going to pull this down to the base. You can wire this. You can wrap it around once if you'd like, just to get started. That works. And now we're going to be using this wire. I'm going to make a pretty pinch. Okay, y'all, you see how that just popped up? Let me say, because I'm going to be saying this a lot through this video. If you do a pretty little gather, just take that moment extra to do that pretty little gather, because it's look, if you just do a fold over or just let it just fall any old way, you see how it just is going to flop any old way, and you won't have it. Your bow just won't fluff as pretty. Okay, all your loops are just going to look differently. If you start on every one and you do a pretty little pinch, see how right here from the base you get that fluff that starts already, and you control that, and every one of your loops will be exactly the same. So that's important to me because I want this to fluff beautifully. Okay, so that's why I just take an extra moment and just do that pretty little pinch. Okay, your bow, you're going to see at the end, that's why it gets so much volume on that bow, is because I just took that extra little moment. Okay, and I'm going to go around twice, because I'm going to get that started really well. There you go. Here's my helping hand wire up and down. You see that's how it's supposed to look. Let's get the tail out the way. Okay, let's go ahead, because I know I'm going to cut this ribbon up a lot. So let's go ahead. I'm going to tie the other tail in right now also. And here's see my truck driving down? I want my truck driving down. So let's measure some off using the board as my measurement. Just taking that extra moment to making a pretty pinch. Your bow will, please take my word for it, your bow will fluff prettier if you do that. Instead of just a fold over or just slapping it on there just any old way. And there you go. See how I've used my helping hand, and it's just tied in. See how it's tied in? That's how this should look. I have just tied that in. Let's get the tail out the way. And look, this is what we've achieved by doing this. In my bow, when I pull my tails down, trucks driving out, trucks driving out. I don't have trucks going up and down. And that's how I want that to look. And that's how you can achieve that. Okay? Now, the next thing we're going to do is, if I'm making my loops using this ribbon, and I'm going to just pull it off, just however it comes off the spool, these trucks are just going to fall anywhere they want to fall. And whenever I pinch and twist, so here's my pinch and my twist, you see how this comes, then my trucks are upside down on this side. And I don't want that. I don't want that to happen. So how am I going to fix this? Well, I'm going to cut the loops up. I'm going to cut this ribbon up, and I'm going to place my trucks where I want them to be. Okay? So, let's measure. Okay, that's enough right there. That's plenty enough. And look, you see where my truck is? I'm going to move it back just a little bit, because whenever you're looking at your bow, you're seeing your bow flat on like that. You're seeing your bow flat on, but you kind of look from the side a little bit. So let's move our little truck over a little bit. I want him kind of coming around my loop, kind of like that. I think he looks pretty like that. See how he looks? So that's where I'm placing my truck and my bow. So put it on. There's my measurement right there. And we're going to cut this ribbon. I'm going to leave about a ½ inch. See there? That's the underside. I'm just going to leave about a ½ inch past my finger. Y'all, this is all we've lost in making this adjustment. That's nothing. This is very inexpensive Sam's ribbon. We don't worry, I'm not going to worry about that. And now I'm going to take this piece of ribbon, I'm going to lay it right on top of this, because I want my trucks to be in the same spot. There we go. See how I've just laid it on top? I know exactly where I want my truck to go. And look, this is all we've lost. That's all we've lost here. Okay, now I'm going to take my 2 pieces of ribbon, and y'all, whenever you're setting figures or letters, words, like little trucks like this, you always place them. You see the truck? You see how the truck looks? You place them going down. You place them going down. Okay, because whenever you fluff your bow, there they are. They're going to set up, and that's how you're going to see them in your bow. Okay, so just place them going down, and now here we go. We're going to wire them right here. Make a nice pinch, and just wire it in. Let's see, I wanted this to go up. Okay, make sure you make a nice pinch, wire that right on top of, come on, ribbon, cooperate with me. Here we go. There we go. Y'all, this does wiggle a little bit. It wiggles around on you. That's okay. Doesn't matter. Okay. And there we go. It is wired in. And whenever we fluff this, this is going to come up, and we're going to have 2 trucks right there, just showing right up in our bow. Okay. There we go. Set those down. Okay. Let's see if I can tighten this up just a bit. There we go. I've fooled with that a lot. Okay, now, there we go. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Let's stick this under here. Come on, Regina, control your wire. Get this out the way. Y'all, you want to make sure your wire goes up and down, okay? Because you're working in between your wire. Okay, here is my little truck. And on this side, my trucks are going that way. On this side, my trucks are going to go this way. Okay, and look where my position of my little truck is. That's how I want to see him coming around. Okay, so that's how I'm going to choose to put him. I'm going to put it over. There's my measurement. And I'm going to see where my fingers are. I'm going to allow myself about a ½ inch past. You don't need any more than that. It's plenty enough. Y'all, look, that's all I've lost. That's it. That's all I've lost. Now I'm going to take my ribbon. I'm going to sit it on top of my truck. in the same place because I want my little trucks coming out in the same place. There's my cut. Here's my cut. Yo, this is all the ribbon I have lost. This is it. Not even a whole loop. Okay? And now I have my trucks are not upside down, and I have placed them to be exactly where I want them to be. Look, I've sat them over my loops. I'm letting this is all my measurements, letting the board do all the work for me. And tie it in. Absolutely nothing to it. Let's go around twice. That's good. Up and down. And that's it, y'all. That's it. Everything's tied in place. See how that looks? That's how that is supposed to look at this point. The important thing is every stack, every time you add a new ribbon, you make sure that you go right on top of the previous turn. And that's the most important thing. And that's how that is supposed to look at this point. Okay? Let's go to our next ribbon. Let's get this out of the way. I have enough wire. Okay. Our next ribbon is our, you know what? I'm going to move this because I'm going to make a point here. This is another little thing. I want to make sure that I show you. Let's get this out of the way. Y'all, when something's in your way on your craft table, just sweep it off onto the floor. That works. Okay, another little point that I want to make, and I'm going to move the camera just a bit. Just a little bit, because I want you to see. You see my spool holder here? Okay, when I'm working, because people show me pictures of this and they ask this question a lot. You see the position of my bow maker in proportion to my spool holder. You see how that my bow maker is above the, here's the ribbon is below. It would be easier if I say it that way. My spool holder is below the bow maker because this is where all the work gets done. Okay, and I want that ribbon to stay on that spool absolutely as long as possible. So this is just, I think if you set this up this way, it'll just work easier for you. Okay, you want the ribbon to stay on that spool absolutely as long as possible. And we're going to talk about bottoms up here too. Why do I say bottoms up? Okay, so let's see, we're going to measure some off of the tail. Okay, that'll be good. Wire it in. Round and round. That's just enough. No more than that. Get the tail out of your way. Y'all seen me do this before. Smooth, easy glide, just drop it over. Finger here. Bottom edge of ribbon to my finger. Always keeping that bottom edge in sight. Y'all can see how I come in sideways. I don't come in straight up. I come in sideways. I'm always keeping the bottom edge of this ribbon in sight. I'm making a pretty pinch, and there's my pinch and my twist, and smooth, easy glide with my finger and drop it over. And that's all there is to it. Easy, easy as can be. Finger here, coming in sideways. I wanted y'all to see this well. There's my pinch and my twist. And just go over it one more time. Finger here, bottom edge of ribbon to my finger. There's the pinch and the twist. Bring that edge up. You can leave your thumb there. I would suggest you leave your thumb there so that this can hold everything in place for you. Nothing will move until you tie it off. Okay, like this. You're just working off the tip of your finger. Drop it over. Come back to the center. There's your pinch. I'm making a pretty little gather. And there's my twist. See how I'm kind of popping that up? Y'all, I'm starting my fluffing there. Just popping that up, I don't want this to fold over. I want to make sure I have a nice pretty little pinch and twist, and now I'm going to wire this off. My bow will just fluff easier. And this is another thing. You see how I'm really making this tight? Do it tight. Once around is enough. And now my wire is straight up and down. And now my stack is just coming straight out. That's the important thing. You see how my stack is just straight? Okay? That is the important thing to do. Nothing to it. Using that helping hand wire, you can just keep this, all of your ribbon just pulled in place, and it's just absolutely nothing to it. Easy as it can be. Okay. Let's cut it. Let's cut some tail using these. Yep, that's long enough. You can kind of eyeball it and get that out of the way. Okay, now we're going to use, let's see how our trees are going to fall. Same thing here, y'all. Look where the trees are. The trees are going down on this side and going in this way. I don't want that. So all I'm going to do is flip this around. I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to wire it into my bow. That's long enough. Okay, I'm going to make my pretty little pinch. Sit this in here and wire it in. Okay, get my tail out the way. You can see whenever I fluff my bow, see when I fluff my bow, all my trees are going to be going up. And that's what I want at this point. Okay? Let's see. Do I have a good enough camera angle here? I think that might be a little better. Okay? There we go. Now let's get that out the way. Let's see. How is it going to fall on this side? Yes. Let's go ahead and cut this. I'm going to do the same thing because I want this. I'm going to measure it from the previous one. There we go. Put a little angle on it. Here's my pretty little pinch. Y'all, I'm just doing this because I'm making this ribbon do what I want it to. I'm making the figures in the ribbon do what I want them to do and go in the direction that I want them to be. I just don't like, I want both sides of my bow to look exactly the same, and I don't like things coming up one side and down the other. I just don't care for that, so that's how I achieve that. And you can see there's absolutely nothing to it. It's incredibly easy to do. Okay? So I hope you'll enjoy that technique. Let's get this out of the way. Now, let's see how the trees are going to come out. Let's see. That's how I want my trees to fall on this side because I want my trees going in this direction. And if I use them just coming, if I do pinch and, let's see if I do the pinch and the twist, how will they fall? Pinch and twist, how will they fall? Just sometimes you have to play with it and see how they'll be. Let's see. I'm going to let my trees fall any way they want to. Let's see, did I do that right? Yeah, if I pinch. Let's see, it goes around this way first. Nope, my trees are coming in this way, and I don't want them to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut, because I'm going to have to turn this, well, let me see if I can do it this way. No, I have to cut them, because it's the same thing that's going to happen with the truck. I'll have them going one way on one side and one way on the other side. So I'm going to do this side first, and let's see. There's my trees, and they're going out. And I want 3 loops. And so I've measured it. Let me cut this off. Let's cut 3 loops. So doing this method is so you can ensure that I don't want trees going into my loop, into my bow on one side and then being in the other direction on the other. And that's all you have to do. It's just that easy. And using my wire, using my helping hand wire, I am just wiring this in. Come on, go around, Regina. There we go. There we go. There's my tails. See how my tails are going to be perfect? And now you see how you pick it up? See how my loops are going to be perfect? All of my trees are going to be going the same way. Okay. So let's see what my little trees are going to be doing on this side. You see, I'm going to have to turn this around. Let's see, it's going to have to be, nope, like this. Okay. Let's measure. Pull this around. I'm just letting my trees fall. However they come off, they'll be fine. Okay, that's my measurement. Let's see. That's enough. That's plenty right there. Okay, I'm going to lay my ribbon on top and measure this off. I'm just going to do 3 loops. And 3 loops. Okay. Now, you see how all my trees are going this way now. You see, you have to kind of pay attention. If I did it this way, they'd all be coming in. So if I do it this way, now they're all going to be going out. And that's how I want them. Okay. Kind of have to pay attention here, y'all. Make these things go in the direction you want them to. Okay. Let's see. Let me make sure I laid them all right. Going that way, that way, that way. Perfect. Okay. Let's lay them. Let's tie them in. Y'all, it bothers me. It bothers me enough. Things going in the wrong directions that I cut my ribbon up like this. And I do it every time because I just cannot stand all that stuff. I don't think it is a professional looking bow. These scissors are very sharp. I'm cutting the extra edge off. Didn't want to cut my ribbon. And y'all, that's all you have to do is just wire it in. And that is how it's supposed to look for now. See how I'm just wiring all of this ribbon in to my bow. And you're going to see at the end, y'all, believe it or not, you might not believe me at this point, you just can't see it. Once the bow is fluffed, you can't see that you've cut all this ribbon up. But I think these couple of little techniques of making things do what you want just makes all the difference in the world. So there's my trees. One more ribbon to go, y'all, and we're done. Solid red, y'all. We can just use the ribbon like we want to. Let's see. This is another thing I want to make sure that you catch. I'm going to put that there. Let's see, let me redo the camera because I want you to see. I'm moving my camera angle. Okay. So here's my tail. Okay, see? I'm going to just move it over. There's my tail. I'm pinching it in. Tie it in. Tie it. Get the tail out the way. See where I'm putting it? Now, remember how I did my finger like this? Smooth, easy glide, drop it over. Okay? Now, you see how this half turn, see how this is starting to turn right here? Y'all, that always happens. That always happens on the right. But I'm going to put my finger here, bottom edge of the ribbon to my finger. There's my pinch and the twist. And I bring the bottom edge up. In the videos, you hear me saying bottoms up. That's what that means. So that's my finger. This is where I'm receiving my ribbon, keeping the bottom edge in sight. There's a nice, pretty pinch. There's my twist. You can leave your finger there just to hold it and drop it over. And just drop it over. And you see what happens, miraculously happens? Your ribbon from your hand to your spool holder is now straight. You won't get all twisted up ribbon. That's why the bottoms up movement is so incredibly important. Okay? And that's why I say bottoms up every time. So here's my finger, there's my pinch. There's my twist. Okay, and I'm going to take this ribbon, smooth, easy glide, and just drop it over. Okay, finger here, bottom edge of ribbon. There's my pinch. There's my twist. And drop it over. Now I'm going to show you another little technique because I've had some ladies. Oh, and you see how this popped up right here? That's not because my stack is getting really deep here. My stack is getting really deep, and this is wanting to pop up on me. And so, oh my goodness, what do I do about that? Well, I can just tie this off. I'm going to use my helping hand wire. I'm going to use my helping hand wire. This is really bulked up a lot because I've cut this ribbon so many times. So that's bulked it up a lot. I can just use my helping hand wire again. I'm going to just tie that off and just make it stay in place. Okay, see how I'm just controlling my stack. You see how I'm just keeping it, my stack, all straight, and I'm really controlling all of this with that helping hand wire. Okay, especially whenever you cut up all your ribbon like this and make everything fall where you want to, the helping hand wire is just crucial. You can't do it without it. Okay, but you can see how incredibly it is using it. Okay, now let's go on. There's my pinch. There's my twist. At this point, I'm going to show you another little trick. This is a little trick. I have people that have said they just don't enjoy going over the same dowel over and over and over. They just don't like how this gets bunched up here. It really makes no difference at all. But if you just don't like that, then all you have to do, watch what I'm going to do. Oh, I have my dowels in really tight. Okay, you see how, look, I can take the dowel out. See how it took it completely out? Because I have this all wired together here. I can just push this up out the way, put the dowel back down. See how you can push that out the way? I'm going to come here and finish this off. There's my pinch and my twist. Pinch and twist. I'm going to wire this off. Just one little time around. And look what I'm going to do. You see I'm holding that out the way. And then I'm going to just drop that over and use the dowel all over again. Okay? You're back to like it's the first time you used it. So you can do that because this isn't going anywhere because it's all wired together. So you can pick up your dowels, move things out the way all you want. How easy is that? I'm going to do it on this side too. I took my dowel out, got my ribbon, my loop out the way. If you just don't particularly like going over the same dowel over and over, that's what you can do. Here's my pinch and my twist. And just go over that dowel again. And here's my pinch and my twist. And I'm just making it, y'all. I'm almost running out of helping hand wire. And where's the little tip? There it is. Look at that. I just have this little bitty piece left. That's all I have left. And let's wire it off. Let me show you another thing. If you're kind of freaking out because that's all you have left there, all you have to do, maybe you want to just add another piece, okay? Maybe you just didn't like it because that's all you had left there. Let me go ahead and cut this tail. Get that out the way. Okay? All you have to do at any point, you can just slide this. If you want to add more helping hand wire at any point, all you have to do is just slide it up under. You're sliding it up under your loops and just pulling it. You see, you just pull it to your center. Let's get to the center here. It's kind of caught on that right there. Get to your center. It's getting caught on my, okay. So you see, I've just pulled that piece of wire. You can just start feeding in more wire at any point you want to, okay? And tie it off, and you can get it just as tight as it can be. Okay, so now you have now you have all these little pieces of wire, and another thing people ask me, oh, what do I do with all the wire? Just let it come straight out the bottom. That's all that matters. That's all there is to it. Now let's tie our bow off. Going back to our first wire. Y'all don't pull it straight up, it'll knot it. Just wiggle, little bitty wiggle, okay? It's a wiggle. Okay, you went clockwise to take the piece of wire off. You want to go counterclockwise. If you pull it off this way, then all you've done, you went on clockwise. And if you just try to pull it off that way, I want you to notice this. I'm going to hold it up to the camera. See there? If you don't do counterclockwise, you see how it's off of the dowel? If you do it this way, and people have sent me pictures and they go, why is this happening? Well, what you've done is you've just wired that dowel into your bow. You can see how you can see the piece of wire on it? Okay, see that? So if you go on clockwise, you have to take it off counterclockwise, and now you don't have that piece of wire around that dowel. That's all there is to that. But I just wanted to just remind you, goes on clockwise, counterclockwise. Now you're not around that dowel. So that's all there is to that. Okay, let's get our piece of wire off the nail. Okay, another thing that you can do, especially because we've cut so many pieces, you can kind of tighten this up. You can just kind of push it in. Before I even pull my wire, I'm just going to carefully, tighten this up. Push it in with my fingers. Making sure everything's lining up just like I want it to be. You can kind of make some adjustments. I kind of lost my center there. I've added just a whole lot. I'm just lining everything back up with my finger, pushing it in because I want this to be tight. And now I'm going to take my wire, pull, and wire it off. And see how it's tightening up? You can see it tightening up. Okay. Now I'm just going to go around. Y'all, you can just get it so tight. There you go. You only have to go around 2 or 3 times. You might even want to take these and go around 1 or 2 times. No more than that, because you'll end up breaking them all. And y'all, that's all there is to it. Okay, our bow is made. Now, whenever I'm making this kind of bow, and I've done it both ways, but I find that I can just control all of this ribbon because we got a lot of ribbon going on here with all these long tails. I just take them, I pull them down. At this point, before I take the bow off the bow maker, I pull my loops down. Like I said, I've done it both ways, and I just find that it works better this way. Here we go, pull this down, pull this down. Look at this, trees, just like I want. Pull this down to the center. There's my plaid. Here's my plaid. I just love putting this black in right here at this point. Here's my trucks. Let's see how my trucks are driving. How are my trucks driving today? Down and down. Look at that. No, up and down. Down and down. And then here's my 2 little loops. And that's it, y'all. Bow is made. Let's see. Let's lift off, and let's go to the fluff box, and we're going to fluff out this big, gorgeous bow. Get it onto the fluff box. Here we go. You see how all my tails, I'm keeping all my tails together. This is a lot of ribbon here to handle. In this particular wreath, I didn't curl them. I didn't curl anything. I just left them long. And so there I'm having them sitting there. I'm starting from the bottom, and let's fluff our bow. This is some big loops, y'all. I don't think I've made a wreath bow using 2-inch, just with 2-inch ribbon on row E, but I think it came out really pretty, and it's a great big wreath, and I wanted a really big bow, so here we are. I wanted to do this one for you because, like I said, I haven't done one this big before, and I just loved all this ribbon. I know a lot of people have been sending me pictures, and a lot of people are using this ribbon, so I wanted to make this bow for you and show you how I controlled it and made everything go in the direction I wanted. Okay? And see, because it's on the fluff box, you see how I can just pull, and I'm shaping my bow as I go. Y'all, the fluff box is just crucial. I couldn't shape all of this and get this bow to look like this if it wasn't for my fluff box. Okay, now let's see how our trucks look. Look at this. Now I'm going to take a little extra moment here, making sure all the way to the center of my bow. There's my loop. There's my loop coming out. Here's my little loops coming out on top of that. See how all those cuts, how cutting up all that ribbon in this bow, it gets completely hidden and you can't see it at all. Let's set up our little center bow. Come on. Come on, little center loop. There he is. There's our little center loop. Look at that. And I'm going to hold this up, and I want you to see that you cannot see any of these cuts, especially once it gets put into the wreath. You just can't see it. Let's put this one here. Okay, Regina, y'all know how I am. Foo, 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 foo. Look at this. Look at that. Look how great that came out. And that's half. And as you can see, what I really wanted you to see is that you cannot see all those cuts. Okay? And trees, 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 trucks, trucks. And I've placed my trucks in my loops exactly where I want them to be. And nothing upside down. Let's flip this around, keeping my tails in order. Come on, here we go. Now, let's finish fluffing. Y'all, if you don't have a fluff box, really need to get you one. You can use 2 hands. Look how I'm shaping this bow as I go. I'm making it do exactly what I want it to. And you see how I'm opening this? I'm pulling these loops around. I'm pulling. Y'all, I couldn't do this if I was just holding this with one hand and just jerking on this. Couldn't do it. I am manipulating this ribbon as I did through the whole bow. I have completely manipulated all this ribbon. I cut it up. I made it go in the direction I wanted it to go. Be the boss of your ribbon, y'all. Make your ribbon do what you want it to. Okay, look at this. Look how, you know, this is just incredibly easy. It takes a few minutes more to do this, but I just think it just gives a very professional look, making everything go in the direction that you want it to. I think it'll give a much more professional look to your finished product, to your wreath. Not having your trucks upside down and wrecked. Don't want wheels in the air. Let's see, I'm going to pull this one like this, I believe. And see how I'm just going to take my hands and pull this apart right to the center and make it go. Y'all, I couldn't do this if I was just using, if I was just pulling like crazy on this with, you know, holding it with one hand. I am manipulating that all the way to the center. You see how I've pulled these loops out? Okay. Okay. Foo, 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 foo. I'm the foo-foo queen. Okay, I'm going to stop there. I'm terrible about it. Okay, here's my tails. All my tails coming down. And here is my little center loop. You could have put more if you'd like, but the point that this is the points that I want to make in this bow. I want you to see everything is going in the direction that I want it to. Okay. Let's move my camera because I want you to see. Everything is in the direction that I want it to be. My truck is placed where I want it to be. I'm not just getting the tail end of my truck going around my loop. My truck isn't way down in here. I wanted to get the full effect of my truck. So I put it there. I put that one there. I put this one here. I put this one here. I placed them where I wanted them. And you can cut your ribbon up, and then there's my trees. Out, out, out. Trees on this side. Where's all my trees? Here we go. Out, out, out. I think it makes all the difference in the world. Incredibly easy to do. Takes a few more minutes, but I think you want to put out a professional product, and I think you can see how incredibly easy that is to achieve. And there is our great, big, beautiful bow. How about that? And what I want you to see is that you cannot see that I have cut all this ribbon up. That is the important thing. So there you go. And it just works beautifully. I hope you've enjoyed this. I love showing y'all all my little techniques. I hope you will enjoy this. Thank you so much for joining me today. Bye-bye for now. So here we are. There is our great big, beautiful Sam's Ribbon truck wreath bow. I hope you've enjoyed some of the techniques that I've showed you today, and that you may enjoy them. Thank you so much for joining me today, and bye-bye for now.